Hi everyone and welcome. This is going to be a potato themed soap. These are potato flowers. Aren't they beautiful? I just love them. And generally, once the flowers die back and these branches die back, it's time to harvest the potatoes. In this case, my potatoes aren't quite ready yet, so I'm using some from last year. That's right, these are russets from last year. And this soap was one that was made out of a really odd place. There is a lot of Eastern medicine that is legitimate, and there are legitimate Eastern, what's the best word to use for this? Anecdotal stories about using potatoes in cosmetics. And much of that is about lightening the skin. Well, quite frankly, I don't see a good reason to lighten skin. I love black skin, I love brown skin, I love caramel skin, and I love every color in between. Now, are there legitimate reasons to lighten skin? Well, of course. If a person had a legitimate issue, such as a darkened spot on the skin that they simply wanted to match the rest, I would understand that. Now, can you get that from a soap? Well, I'm rather dubious about this because unless you're leaving the soap on your skin for 15 or 20 minutes, I'm not sure that you're going to get that benefit of the potato as far as a bleaching. And I could find no real science behind this. But again, if you look on YouTube, you'll see a lot of anecdotal videos from people claiming that washing with potato soap lightens their skin. I haven't yet seen that. I've seen videos of it, but I've also seen a lot of photoshopping. So I'm not suggesting they're lying, but it's not good enough evidence for me. I haven't seen any science to prove that this actually works. But I know that there are benefits to potatoes in soap. For one thing, it works very similar to the way goat milk works in regard to how it leaves the skin with a nice moist feeling. It kind of caps the skin without drying it. So some of the beneficial oils that are in the soap can remain on the skin. Now, I decided also to make this a slightly exfoliating soap. So you can see I'm dehydrating the peels there on the left and going to grind those. I also added brown rice to this, organic brown rice, and some organic oats to this as well, because I wanted to make this very luxurious, very smooth, and kind of lotion-like on the skin. And to that end, I achieved the goal. However, well, you'll see. Most of this went very smoothly. I got my peels ground up into a very nice powder. I got my potatoes, my rice, and my oats well blended, softened, and drained. And I was very happy with how this turned out, up to that point. But I do want to digress for a moment. And again, I know that there's a lot of judgment out there in this nation we live in and across the planet in regard to skin tone. And I know where this comes from, right? This is very old. It's an absurd concept, but it's out there that one shade of skin is better than another, that one is more appealing than another, that one is more beautiful. First of all, taste is so very personal to any individual, outside of race, outside of religion, outside of anything else. A person's preferences are so very personal to them, to themselves, and I think that's the way it should be. However, that should be based on healthy concepts, right? If you think only women with 20-inch waists are beautiful, if you think that only women with blonde hair or green eyes or whatever the case may be are beautiful and that all other standards of beauty are inferior, perhaps you need to do a little more research and open your mind a bit. And I know that people want to change the way they look. I mean, why do people with very light skin want to tan? Why do certain other people want to lighten? Why do certain people want to straighten hair? Certain people want to curl their hair, and all of these wonderful variations. There's nothing wrong with the change as long as you're doing it for a healthy reason. If you're doing it because other people have made you feel that you should do that, that's a mistake. I am so happy to see women of color starting to wear their hair naturally. When I was a kid, I had a fro, and this wasn't by choice, it was just the nature of my crazy hair. And the only people that treated me kindly were the girls of color that I went to school with, who also had natural big hair. And we were like kin in that way. And everyone else made fun of me. Now, even they would make fun of me sometimes, but it was in good humor. And I've just never understood why so many people insisted, at least in the beauty industry, that women of color make their hair look like Western, or I should say Caucasian hair. That's a personal choice, and it shouldn't be forced by an industry. That's my opinion. And it's so good now to see people, even like Michelle Obama now is wearing her hair naturally, and it's just beautiful. She's a gorgeous, beautiful woman, and what a fantastic representative she is of this move back toward natural hair. And I'm so glad to see froze again, and I hope we start seeing picks in hair again. Do you know I wore a pick in my hair as a teenager? I did, because my friends of color also wore picks in their hair. Of course, they were also carrying around giant boom boxes. I didn't. I had my little Walkman, so we varied in that way. Anyway, the soap. I'm sorry, I got on my soapbox there. The soap, everything was going beautiful. Really, I was so happy. I had planned on separating it into 3 colors, one with beetroot, one with madder root, one with walnut hull and flaxseed combined. And this was going to be a gorgeous soap with multiple layers, and I had all these wonderful plans. I was really excited and happy about this soap. And then I thought, what should I fragrance a potato-themed soap? And I thought about it, and I thought, I haven't used oregano in a long time as one of the main fragrances, and for good reason. We remember from some of my past videos, oregano turned my soap into cement. Well, I got this from a new supplier, and I thought, maybe it's different and I won't use as much. And I didn't. So the total fragrances in this are about 1/5 oregano, and then the rest is a little bit of peppermint, a little bit of eucalyptus, and a little bit of rosemary. And I thought, this will be a very nice kind of herbal blend. This will smell terrific. It'll be soothing. And here we go. I'm pouring it now. Don't do it. Stop. No, don't. And sure enough, just like the oregano that I've used in the past, I should have not used it in a blend like this, or mixed it later in one of the colors and not the full blend. I don't know, but I shouldn't have done what I did. And you can already see what's happening there. And this happened really, really fast, and it became cement. Just like that. And luckily I had my scoop that my lovely sister, soaping sister, Renee, sent me, and it was perfect for this, but I realized this wasn't going to work. There's no way that I could get those colors well mixed. The lye is well mixed in, no problem there. I did that before I added the fragrance, but I knew it would be a disaster, and you can see I tried to mix the colors in there and it just made a lumpy mess. So I decided to throw all of this into the crock pot. So there you have the beetroot mix there. So all of this is going to go in, and I'm just going to smash it down. And believe me, I made a mess. Everything I touched was covered in this goop by the time I was done. I was doing dishes for quite a while to get all this taken care of. But it worked. I just put it on a very low heat. I added no liquid to it. I just melted it down, so to speak, on a very low heat. I didn't want to add any liquid to it because I just didn't want to do anything to affect or change it. The ingredients in here are still fantastic and I want to use them. And it did darken up a bit, but that's only because it's moist now from the cooking. Once I put it in the mold and stuff, it lightens back up again. And the texture of this is because of the potato, the rice, and the oatmeal. Of course, those all add that sort of gelatin texture to it, and then adding that oregano into it too. This poor soap didn't have a chance. and you know, on some level, I'm sure that I knew that inside. I suspected there might be a problem when I added that oregano. I really did. I thought, no, this is a different formulation. Maybe someone else has distilled this in a different way and it won't do that. Well, if that's the case, you should test it on a tiny little single bar or something first, not on 2 big loaves of soap, right? And we're talking about 10 pounds of soap here. But after cooking it, it did go in very well. I was able to get it in there much like a hot process, which in essence this turned out to be. More than a rebatch, it turned into kind of a hot process. And it was hard when I went to cut it. And this is just from the time I started to the time I cut it was just 12 hours. And this was hard, really hard. But it came out okay. And you can see here it's dark. As I said, it does lighten up a bit. But I actually kind of like the colors. It has sort of an earthiness to it. But the madder root and the combination of that beetroot actually got pinker, which doesn't show as well on my old video camera here as it does in photograph. But there is more of a pink hue to this than a lot of that dark there is actually kind of a pink color. But I really love making soap, and I even love when things go wrong. Well, I don't love it while I'm in the middle of it, but I love being able to take a fail and to redo it. Now, once I was done with these, I, of course, knew the tops had to go because I just didn't like the way they looked. So after I sliced the individual bars, then I went back and removed the tops off of them. And the main reason for that was just to make sure that they looked as good as they possibly could, because what I put them through, they deserved all of my best attention. And then I went back, and again, this is just 12 hours after the soap was poured in the mold. Here I am doing the beveling. And again, I just wanted to make sure that these looked good, because I believe that they are deserving. They have great ingredients in them. I think they'll be terrific for the skin, and they do smell wonderful too. They just had an ugly childhood, so to speak. Are they a swan? No. They're kind of a ugly duckling that turned into an average kind of duck. But that all being said, they smell good. They're going to feel great on the skin, so I'm very happy with them. And these will be a big bargain because I made these extra big. Anytime I make a steak on a soap, I increase the size of the soap because I figure it just deserves it. You know, it had a rough start. It deserves a happy ending. And one of the ways I do that is by making a larger bar. But you could cut one of these in half and have 2 good-sized bars of soap. But I want to thank you all for all of your support. It means so much to me, and I am so thankful to have you here, no matter who you are. There are a lot of new folks here, and I'm so happy to have you here. In my last video, I suggested one of the giveaways I'm planning on having for the upcoming 2,000 subscribers, which we're getting close to. And I suggested a soap starter kit. including a mold and scales and some other things. And I've had really good feedback about that. And I was going to make a couple different suggestions, but I really think that that's a good way to go, especially based on the feedback I've had both on YouTube and via email. So I'm going to make something really special. I'm still putting it together, and once we hit 2,000, I will give you all that information about what's included in this giveaway. And boy, am I excited about it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. But I want to thank you all so very much. You are terrific, and you have made every day here fun for me. And I just want to tell you thank you for that. You've been here through all the job stuff that I'm going through, which good news. I may actually be starting back to work the first week of August. I'll tell you more about that in the next video. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.